sound is the sound. You know how we do. This is, of course, The Lounge Presents. We're right here live streaming on Twitch. And as with every episode, we'll be on demand via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And before we start, actually, I never do this. And for some reason, I'm remembering to do this now. Thank you to everyone that taps in, that does the streams. I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate the streams, the minutes you give us. Thank you very much. Um, if anything, because the whole reason why we do this is to shed light on the culture that we're obviously participating in and have been, some of us, from time, but even for the new jacks that are solely in this and doing this thing, this is why we do this. And one really dope reason for having this podcast is being able to to talk with MCs who've been there, who've been there, who've done it. You know what I'm saying? Who've made a name for themselves. And the gentleman we've got on the pod today, most definitely has been there, has made that name. And I'm so happy to hear we've got like new music from this guy right here, Davepsy. Yes.
What's up?
Yes.
Thank you for having me
real.
here, man.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
I mean, like we were talking just before we went live, and I'm going to give you this because you
Gotta have the air horns.
hell yeah. Just before we went live, I was telling Dave Sy how it's crazy that this record is out because it was like happenstance that I stumbled on it. You know what I mean? It's like, hold up, who's Dave Sy? What's the guy? I'm like, wait a minute, Dave Sy. Okay, this is interesting. Let's just let's just see what's going on. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? And then start reading some credits. Like, hold the fuck up. This is Sy from the Oddities. What?
Hello.
Jeez.
Well, I'm glad you checked for it and that you connected the dots.
I'm glad you're still making music.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I don't know what else I would do. It's too much fun to stop.
Love it. I love it.
Simple as that.
Well, you know what? We always start off by asking our guests in the lounge space the same question. And one main reason why we started asking this question, this pod started over the pandemic. And the pandemic was this really weird time. Everyone was really messed up, in the head. Everyone was dealing with mental, emotional, the whole nine. It was an unprecedented time. And the one thing that I thought of was, hey, you know what? Okay, fine, we're all locked the fuck down. That doesn't mean we can't still keep talking. You know what I mean? Like artists are still gonna work and craft. You know what I mean? That doesn't stop. They can't play these shows live, but we can still fucking talk about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that question, Dave Sy, is how were you first introduced to hip hop culture?
Oh, wow. So I think there's the music and then there's the culture, right? And people like to draw a division between the two, and it's not a clear line. It's pretty blurry, tons of overlap. But for me, it kind of was a little bit clearer because I was given the music really before I had any sense of the culture around it. And what I mean by that is, as a little kid, my folks listened to classical music, but I wanted to keep up with the Joneses in my elementary school, and they were all listening to top 40 radio. And so when we're in the car on the way to soccer practice or whatever it is,
practice.
I'd be like, yeah. So I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and the two sports that many of us played growing up there were soccer and baseball, and those were my sports.
There you go.
Back then. Yeah, it was always like an argument, like, are we gonna listen to NPR or classical music, or can I please get my top 40 radio hits? And so, you know, through the course of that, like, obviously I'm hearing stuff like Wham and Duran Duran and like, and, you know, Poison and whatever, but Bruce Hornsby in the Range. But at the same time, I'm getting little infusions here and there of like early LL, Fresh Prince, you know, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, like, you know, stuff like that. Even like every now and then you'd hear like, you know, Cool Mo D and stuff like that. So obviously Wild Wild West, but like, um, yeah, that made it out there a little bit. So, you know, I got that. Then you move into middle school, and that was the era of when rap really started to go pop, and you had the MC Hammers and Vanilla Ices and Candymans and Father MCs, and then it sort of, you know, led up to Crisscross and all of that. And that kind of prompted me to dig a little bit deeper. Well, actually, you know what? I'm jumping ahead. Before that, I was in, I think it was either 4th or 5th grade, and two things made a large impression on me. First, NWA.
Okay.
Huge taboo, right? Can't play that around moms. But it was like they were talking about all this wild stuff that was going on, and like the passion was undeniable, right? Like there was fierce lyricism on that album, and it was getting attention. And then at the same time, but the opposite side of the token, sort of, still the same coast though, Humpty Dance. And when I saw that you could have a high degree of musicality but still not take yourself so seriously, I was hooked. And that was the first rap album I bought. Was I went out and took my allowance and bought Digital Underground Sex Packets. And then, of course, that was a conversation too, because it was like, you know, what is this kid doing with an album called Sex Packets?
And the subject matter.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, but anyway, so, I mean, that was, again, it was the music, but I really wasn't hip to, you know, things like production and digging and DJing and breaking and graffiti and all that stuff. That all really didn't start to come until probably like 7th or 8th grade for me. And that time, just before middle school, also coincided with my pops moving from St. Louis to Toronto.
Okay.
So I would start spending summers in Toronto visiting him.
Right.
And he didn't want me around the house all day, so he sent me to a YMCA sports day camp. Okay. And I made some friends there who I am proud to say I am still friends with today.
That's crazy dope.
Yeah. We're talking like, gosh, what? Like 89, 90? Like, so it's been a while. These are some long friendships. And they were all hip hop heads. And so they turned me on to stuff that I didn't know, like UMCs and early Tribe and Gangstar and things like that. And so I got this East Coast infusion of like non-mega superstar pop stuff. I knew about Run DMC, but I knew about LL, but I didn't know about all this other amazing stuff. And so that kind of sealed the deal for me. And from that point on, it was just like, the Midwest was into the West Coast. So we had our Spice One and our Cube and our Iced Tea and all that.
Yeah.
Quick. I mean, just like Compton completely took over St. Louis when that came out. For good reason. He shouted it out. And so everyone was like, that's our song,
Of course.
But yeah, so I had this beautiful back and forth, because I'd be like, all my friends at school who ended up getting into hip hop were into mostly West Coast stuff. But then I go spend the summer in Toronto, and I'm listening to all East Coast stuff.
Yes,
And I get introduced to the Canadian scene too. I get to hear Maestro Fresh West and Kish, and then a little bit later, you know, Ghetto Concept and Socrates, and it was like, so there's so much to discover, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, long-winded answer, but there you go.
No, that's exactly what we wanted to hear. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. I mean, you grew up obviously with music around the house. I'm not going to this is a non-clinical opinion, but more time, if you grew up with a lot of music around the house, it's going to influence some folks in a certain way, and it might activate the mutant powers, so to speak. The X gene, you know what I mean? The X gene gets activated through that type of influence. So I'm not surprised to hear that you grew up with a little bit of classical, a little bit of NPR, a little bit of pop radio.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's safe to say that. I mean, both of my parents were professional musicians. My mom played harp.
Well, there you go. Jeez.
Yeah. And my father was a violinist. And so, like, you know, when they weren't actually at the concert hall at rehearsals or playing shows in the evening, they were at home practicing. And so it was a constant. You're
surrounded by it. Hell yeah. That's awesome. So answer me this. Being that they played, you know, more traditional forms of music, how did they react to their seed one day going, yo, I'm gonna be a rapper?
Not well. I mean, look, it wasn't explosive. It's like they didn't disown me or anything, but they were like, you know, why couldn't you like play piano or cello? Which, you know, I started out with instruments. You know, when you grow up in like a music household, it's pretty normal that you get signed up for lessons before you even realize there's a choice, right?
Yeah.
So like that was all there, and I had an appreciation for it, but it didn't ignite me the way hip hop did. And you know, it took many years for them to come around to it. I actually remember one day. So I moved to Toronto just before 10th grade. So like, I think it was like maybe summer of 95 or summer of 94. God, I always get it twisted, but around that time. And I remember listening to some CDs in my room, and one day my dad just knocks on the door and he's like, you know, he's a Frenchman, so like in his mild accent, you know, David, educate me on this rap music you listen to. So we sat down and listened to Midnight Marauders together.
Oh,
that was what I chose for his entry point. And it was cool because it was pretty cool. At that point, I had enough understanding that I had already started digging for samples. So I was able to explain to him where, you know, some of the sources came from, you know, for Sucka, the reference to Freddie Hubbard, and you know, all these different things, the Cal Jader for all of the interludes, right? And
they mined so much dope material for that record,
so much, and it was all cleared, so I'm not sample snitching.
Exactly.
But like, you know, being able to like show him some of this source material and him being like, oh, I have some of those records in the basement, you know.
There you go.
And I think that went a really long way to bridging that gap.
For sure. Oh, definitely. I mean, like, do you have children right now?
I do have a daughter. Yeah.
May I ask how old your daughter is?
Yes, she is 13.
Okay. Perfect conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's introduced you to some music.
Oh yeah, like she's hipped me K-pop that I ordinarily would have just like completely written off.
There you go.
But you know, the musicality is there. They do some crazy stuff in K-pop.
Yeah.
You know, it's pop. It's obviously pop.
Yeah.
You have to get past and accept that. But once you do, then
they borrow liberally from so many other genres.
So many things, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, Janet Jackson should probably get royalties for every single K-pop
Right?
song ever created, but still.
Seriously. Well, she hasn't gotten the reparations for the Super Bowl yet, so I don't think we can hold
Right,
her
right.
back.
And Paula Abdul for all the freaking choreography too. I
Oh,
mean,
right.
seriously.
Seriously, though. I mean, say what you like, and a lot of people reference Janet's dancing, but like a lot of people don't, you know what I mean? Even though her choreography is so distinct that
Yeah,
you can tell which joints were choreographed by Paula and which weren't
right,
because her
right.
style was so distinct. You're like, oh yeah, Paula did that one. We know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
And it dropped off eventually to where it was like,
Yeah,
Paula wasn't in the picture anymore, but
yeah,
still.
that's all right. She had
Yeah.
Arsenio.
Right.
She was good. She had Arsenio. He had a talk show and everything. So,
Nice.
damn. So, let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
Right, we're in Toronto now,
Yeah.
and you've met up with who would eventually become your longtime homies. Let's talk a little bit about the Oddities.
Okay.
Now, for anyone who isn't familiar, and I mean, based on the demographic that I see for this pod, most people that watch this will know who the Oddities were.
Okay.
But for folks who might not be familiar with the Oddities, I want to give y'all your flowers first off, so people will acknowledge the Oddities for what y'all were. Which basically, you were a crew, a hip hop crew. Back then, hip hop crews were very prominent,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But y'all weren't just any hip hop crew. Y'all were the Oddities. I remember when I first heard about y'all, it was like, yo, you hear about the Oddities? Nah, no, who's that? Yo, they're actually from over here, and yo, here's a couple of joints. I'm like, what the fuck? Who's this? Right? But then the association with circle research and stylistic, I was like,
Ah.
okay, I can it's easy to wrap your head around, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. But I always felt like the Oddities were a hip hop crew that were kind of like groundbreaking. First off, there was a small handful of hip hop crews known in Canada, right? And when I say hip hop crews, breakers, DJs, some graph writers, and MCs. So we're
Right.
talking
Multiple
full,
elements.
yeah,
Yeah.
full out hip hop crews. And there weren't a lot. There's a small grip of known ones. But if you weren't fully ensconced in the industry or in the culture, like the average person might not necessarily be aware,
Sure. That's fair. Yeah.
right? Like you had to listen to college radio, you had to listen to mixtapes, you had to know enough DJs who were playing it for you to familiarize, right?
Yeah. College radio was everything back then.
Oh God, college radio was, yeah, that was our Spotify, right?
I have a box of like dubs of various radio shows that I loved over the years. Both from Toronto and St. Louis, actually.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
That's gold to me.
So, in a nutshell, the Oddities were a hip hop crew based in Toronto, but I don't know if everyone was necessarily from Toronto. You could clear that up for me.
Okay, well, so I think before I can completely talk Oddities, I have to explain that it was a merging of two crews. And
That is correct.
yeah, and so
Yes.
and there was the group Awkward Y, which was me, Bookworm, and J Star.
Yes, sir.
And we emerged from another crew that kind of evolved over several different iterations and different names, but I ultimately settled on the name Train of Thought. And there were a whole bunch of us, and it kind of, at the end of it, kind of like whittled down to just us three, who really wanted to keep making music and maybe start performing too.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, there was this group Dynasty, which was formerly Def Diamond, known better as Sny Whip, known even better as Rainbow Sun Franks.
Yes, sir.
Who is a pretty accomplished actor, and
Yes.
and he was a former host at Much Music too,
Much, yep.
which was kind of cool. You know, years into our friendship already, he got that gig.
Yeah.
And then Paul Andre, who used to go by the name Sir Syntax and later put out some stuff under the name Change, and had a couple other names as well. Natural the Other, and Bounce, who is better known as Kenny Neal Jr., who's a really dope musician and producer.
Yes, a very well-known musician.
Yeah. Well, his
Get
father's
familiar if
kind
you
of a
don't know.
blues legend, and so
Yeah.
he's kind of he's been able to infiltrate that scene a little bit, in addition to the hip hop that he's done. So
Yeah. Definitely shout out Kenny Neal.
Yeah, big up Bounce. So I guess, how does it happen? After 10th grade, Rainbow, who went to one high school, transferred over to the high school I was at, and we already had a bunch of mutual friends, and so it was pretty quickly solidified that we started hanging out. Eventually we kind of like got all the crews, like both crews together, like in the same room. You know, we were listening to each other's music, and it was just kind of a natural fit. Also turned out that Rainbow, Book, and Jay realized they had known each other from just running hoop at the Jewish Community Center like many years prior. So you know, small world. Toronto's a big city, but it's still a small world.
Still a small world. It's just total 6 degrees.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
So, you know, just started hanging out together. Hanging out led to freestyling, which is all we really cared about doing on the weekends. And, you know, making beats and, you know, shooting the shit, writing rhymes together, all of that stuff. And just started making songs together. And after a while, it became evident that, you know, I think we were probably greater than the sum of our parts, and you know, declared that we should be a crew. All the while, we were friends with Whisper, who has developed into a Toronto graph legend, and who, I don't think it's an understatement to say, has been relentlessly getting up since the mid-90s with like no pause. Like he's unbelievable. Like he just keeps going.
Respect. I got nothing but respect for guys that are still throwing up.
And like speed, precision, and complexity and originality, like just on lock. He's a nut. And I'm completely biased, but I'm also correct.
There you go.
So he was there. You know, he did the artwork for the Awkward tape. He did the Oddities t-shirts. He played a major role in the Oddities Scenic Route cover artwork. And so,
which is dope, by the way. Jeez.
Thank you. I can take no credit for it, but I'm happy to be associated with it.
Cover art is so sick. Goddamn. Jeez, man.
Yeah, and that's really it. I have to say that Cryptic Souls did play a role.
Oh yeah.
In our emergence, because several of the early shows that we played were either put on by members of Cryptic, or we were just invited or, you know, introduced to people who put us on the bill and that sort of thing. And then, as you mentioned before, Stylistic Endeavors was really the first college radio show that we started going to and like rhyming on the air and hanging out with the people involved.
Big up Circle Research all day.
Big up Circle Research, because Stylistic led to Circle Research, which, you know, however many years later led to me and 1990 Nix having an EP together. So,
jeez, god damn. I love how you break down that the Oddities were comprised of a couple of crews, because that in and of itself, I feel like that is almost a standard when you think about hip hop crews in Canada, a lot of them were
Yeah,
formed out of multiple crews.
you're right. Circle, Monolith. I
Yep.
mean, I'm sure there's others.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
Wow.
it was almost a standard. You know what I mean? It was almost like I don't think it's too far to say that it was a blueprint that was being set, and whomever got it
Yeah.
followed through. And if you didn't get it, well, whatever. Like no one gave a fuck about you anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But nah.
Excuse me.
So I think it would be remiss to not immediately give y'all your flag. When it comes to this hip hop shit in Canada.
Thank you, G.
I mean,
Appreciate it.
it's just you can't argue facts, dog. You know what I'm saying? The receipts are there, so come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting because there's so much that comes out of Canada and so much that comes out of Toronto alone that I think, depending on what you're checking for, it's really easy to get missed.
Yeah.
And so, I definitely appreciate acknowledgement whenever it comes, because to some people, yeah, we might be like a duh. Yeah, of course we know these guys. And other people are like, who? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think, I mean, when people think about the canon of hip hop in Canada, you know what I'm saying? Oddities definitely most def, right there, easily.
Thank you.
Just saying. Like I said, you can't argue the receipts.
Thank you.
That's that. Now, you bring up, obviously, the new release where you and Nix hook up.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a story involving another homie, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, since I have become an adult and a parent with a 9 to 5 and, full-time dadhood and all of that, the rate at which I make music has decreased, and it's sporadic. And so what I do is collect beats from my friends that make beats.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, send me a folder, like, what you got? And when I sit down to write, it's anybody's guess which beat I'm going to end up writing to. I just start going through them, and whatever just starts pulling words out of me is what I go with. And so, the homie Big Tweez, also known as Fat Tony, respect to him, man. He's also a Toronto OG. And for folks that dig for dope podcasts, he did a podcast with Thrust a couple years back.
Right. Views from the Six?
Views before the Six, I think.
Before the Six, that's it. Yeah.
And man, a lot of foundational Toronto interviews. They're really worth digging into. He sort of took the helm of the second iteration of the Circle Research Radio Show.
Mm-hmm.
But he also came up around Man's like Red Life and stuff like that. So he had sort of a different angle of exposure to the Toronto scene than I did. But anyway, he's been supportive like forever, and he's the best. We were just chatting online, and I was like, bro, send me beats. And he's like, actually, I've been working a lot with Nix. And I was like, oh, cool. I've actually never rapped over a Nick beat, because the only collabos I've done with Circle Research just happened to be Gil beats, Astro, the other half of Circle
Salute
Research.
Gil all day.
Yeah, he's the man. And he recently put out a banger with Socrates.
Yes.
Under the name Mr. Masuda, or Dr. Masuda, is it? Yeah.
Dr. Masuda. We had him on to talk about that release.
Oh, did you? Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing.
How could we not, right?
No, well, yeah, super deserving of it. He's also the best.
Yes.
And anyway, so Twee sends me a folder, and it wasn't entirely clear in terms of like the labeling, which beats were his and which beats were Nick's. And a lot of, I mean, this was an enormous folder. And I happened to just like start writing 2 songs. You know, something like, we're talking like 50, 60 beats at least. And, you
I
know,
was saying, I bet you had like at least 60 to 70 beats.
yeah, like several albums worth of instrumentals. It was
Yeah.
a lot. And so, you know, I just happened to gravitate towards 2 beats initially that I wrote to and started recording to. And I hit Tweez back and he was like, oh, actually, those are both Nick beats. And I was like, oh, I guess maybe I should get in touch with Nick at this point. You know, and so then the conversation kind of evolved and it was like, well, let's do an EP. And I felt bad because I didn't mean to leave Tweez in the lurch by any means.
Right.
But it just kind of organically evolved that way. And I still have intentions of working with Tweez if he'll allow it. But like,
You should. Oh, you'd be crazy not to.
oh yeah, he makes bangers. Yeah,
I'm saying
he's ill. So
yeah, man.
So, but yeah, so, you know, we just started sending stuff back and forth. And I really like, the thing I love about Nick's production is the bounce. And, I think it comes through that he was a breakdancer for many years. I think
That's no joke. That shit's real.
yeah, I think that there's a certain bounce to his beats that just kind of make you want to like get up and rock a little bit.
No,
And
that's real.
and the other thing that I like, which really I think solidifies his current moniker of 1990 Nix, is he likes to use a lot of these callback vocal samples to classic hip hop tracks.
Yeah.
So you'll hear these little infusions of Biggie or Meth or Busta.
Yeah.
Just, you know, just little homage blips, you know, for flavor, which I think is fun. So,
you know, it's funny you mentioned that. And like, I'm like, I'll be straight up. I'm biased because I have a breaking background as well. But I've always found that breakers, when they transition over to DJing or production, they bring that little extra because they were the ones that were rocking to the breaks to start with.
They know what they want thrown down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying, yo. So more time, I feel like if they have a breaking background, you can trust whatever's going to come out.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Biased, but I mean, the evidence is there too.
Yeah. For sure.
The EP, it's an EP.
It is. It's only 5 songs.
And it's called Here's the Thing.
Here's the thing.
Why only an EP?
So honestly, that I think really starts with my feelings around going into working with stylists and the Scene from Space project that we did a few years ago.
Okay.
I like the idea of tapas rather than full meals, if that makes sense.
No, makes complete sense.
And
Total sense.
I also feel like I wanted to sort of unofficially start this series of short projects that I could do with entirely one producer.
Hey, I like
and
that.
It felt like doing full albums with single producers would just be a little bit more ambitious given my general time constraints.
For sure. Yeah, life.
Yeah.
No,
life
and
reality, scatterbrain and
no,
you know,
for real.
You know, at the end of the day, like after having like made dinner, put the kid to bed, cleaned up the kitchen, maybe sent out the last few work emails or folded some laundry or whatever the heck.
Yeah.
You're faced with like a few choices. Get a good night's sleep.
Yep.
Let the couch and television win, or hit the studio and try to make something. and the studio just doesn't always win.
No, it's, you could have every intention, like, okay, when everything's all said and done, I'm gonna put aside a couple hours so I could work on this idea I have.
Yeah.
That's the intention.
Yeah. But that might not happen until 3
But it
weeks
doesn't
later.
always follow through. But that's okay. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I've always believed that artists, when artists create and they choose to share, 'cause that's what artists do. They share.
Mhm.
When they create and then choose to share, those aren't, like, it's not like a hit factory. It's not like, an assembly line of like, I'm gonna go in and put in X amount of hours every day so that I can make sure I get a record out, every month. Some, I mean, especially new jacks, some people are about that, and there's no shame in that game either.
No, I respect that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
and I understand why they do that, because with the streaming game and the attention span today, I get it.
Mhm.
Totally get it. You know what I mean? But they're and I'm not trying to look at it from like a snobby down my nose at other folks type of way, but eventually, I believe as time goes, you become more of a connoisseur when it comes to music,
Yeah.
because
I agree with that.
you've developed your taste. You know what you like. You know what. Put it this way: you know what you like, so you know whatever will fall in line with the vibe that you get with you're going to gravitate towards, or it's going to find its way to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? And I
I
think
don't,
that benefits a lot of artists that we know,
yeah.
because there is there isn't necessarily that need for constantly trying to make sure you got the algorithm, you know, throwing you out there all there and everywhere. And again, no shame in the game of the artists that are doing that. I fully understand why you're doing what you're doing. I get the game plan, trust, but I also believe that there's a good chunk of folks out there that are now music connoisseurs
Yeah.
and know exactly what they want and don't need an algorithm to suggest, you know, hey, since you like this, I think you'll like this as well. No, we kind of know how to dig for what we want.
Right, right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I think seasoned listeners for sure.
Yeah. And
Um,
that helps a lot of artists our age.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with that. Um, I think also as a creative, you just kind of have to do what works for you, right?
Thank you.
Some
Exactly.
people are consistent, some people are more sporadic. Look, probably my most frequent collaborator over the years has been Mocha, who
Hey,
is like
shout out,
the most prolific dude ever,
shout out Moke all day.
Shout out Mocha. Man, dude's
Oh
got
yeah.
like upwards of 150 releases, like,
Fuck
and
yeah.
that's not
Jeez.
hyperbole,
No exaggeration there at all.
Yeah, like he's
Damn.
out of his face. And like he functions at a very high level of music making. Like his beats
Yeah.
have complexity.
Yeah.
His rhymes employ all kinds of different devices
Oh yeah.
and different strategies, and like he's just a monster.
Yeah.
Um and so like so I can look at a guy like that and be like, wow, like I revere his output, and he really doesn't sacrifice quality. Like maybe in his early days, I might have been like critical and been like, man, like you could slow down and like have like more perfect albums and this sort of thing. But like as he refined his skill level, like any of that criticism like flew out the window for me
Yeah.
too. And it happened early on. Like he's insane. He's one of the most talented musical people I've ever come across.
Mocha only is like the Muramasa blade of hip hop in Canada.
Can you?
That's a Wolverine reference.
Why don't I know it? I love it.
The Muramasa blade was this like mythical blade that.
Oh, Muramasa. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry,
That's
it wasn't clicking. Yeah.
Moke's the Muramasa blade of Canadian hip hop.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Talk about somebody unsung, man. He should be a household name everywhere, if you ask me.
Well,
Um,
I agree with you completely, and maybe maybe the folks that we roll with just yeah, like we know,
yeah.
right? But most definitely his name should be. I mean, he should have had like a grip of Grammys by now, a grip of
For
fucking
real.
Junos.
For
You know
real.
what I'm saying? Because he's
And
worked on
not
both sides of
just
the
because of
border.
Swollen, you know,
No, no, I'm talking just as a solo
because of
artist.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like
Um,
seriously.
but so then I look at a guy like Decisive, who
Hey, shout out
he's
D. Oh,
the
damn.
man, right?
Yeah.
But he'll disappear for several years at a
Hmm.
time and then
And come
come
out with a
back,
new persona.
right? And then just come back on fire and put out
Yeah.
like 3 projects and
Yep.
just like, bah, here you go. And then
Right.
bye bye again.
And
And so, like,
then you'll see him again like 5 years later.
yeah. So, like,
And that's
everybody's,
okay.
yeah, everybody's got their own clip, right? So,
The fact of the matter is, like I'll just use the term heads for point of reference. Heads will always know.
yeah.
Heads will always know. So heads that are familiar with the names, they're gonna keep checking for them, even if they disappear for 5 years. That name pops up again, like, oh yo, what? Like the same way, like when I fucking found out you had an EP. That's the same. That's exactly the same that happens. Like, oh yo, did you hear? When I found you had an AP, man, I hopped on my fucking iMessages. Like, did y'all know about this shit?
That's amazing. Thank
Right?
you for doing that.
And I feel like that's what heads will. That's exactly how heads will be.
Yeah.
You don't have to have heard someone for like the past 20 years consistently. You could like pick up, as with each release, like, oh yo, did you hear? Yo, so and so's got a new record. What? Yo, peep it, and then you share, it, and then obviously you talk about it over a split for some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I love
Like,
that. I love that.
so
Sure.
I was amped when I found out you
I'm
had a
so
new
glad
record
to hear that, man. Thank you.
because we need more Oddities product in 2025 and forward. God damn.
Um, this is like sort of a non sequitur, but since you're in Winnipeg, I wanna send a shout to Freak Show because
Hey.
when we were coming up, there wasn't a whole lot. Yeah, yeah. There weren't a whole lot of other artists that in Canada specifically that we felt we had a ton in common with.
Mhm.
And before we ever really made it out to the West Coast, we didn't know like the City Planners cats, like
Right.
Mocha, Ishkan, Jeff
Yeah.
Speck, Sweet G, C. Schwan, Bird of Prey, like all those cats.
Yeah.
We didn't know them. So uh we knew Monolith, we knew Cryptic Souls, and those were other like big crews that were dope, but they really didn't sound anything like us. And they weren't like weirdo idiots the way that
No.
we kind of were. And so then
I
Freak
mean,
Show
weirdo. I
happens.
mean, I know you say I didn't look at it as weirdo, but I mean, we'll roll with what you say.
Maybe not. And maybe, you know what? Actually, to be fair, the Oddity Scenic Route album really, I think, made an effort to tone down some of the weirdness.
Okay.
But it was there. It was
I mean,
there. And it was very much there
it's
with
still
how
part
we
of
knew
personality.
ourselves to be,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we put out projects called Awkward Y and Sprolic Stream. And like, what does any of that mean to the average random mandem,
Yeah.
So, but Freak Show were weird, but they were also like highly skilled.
Yes.
And so it was just, and you could tell they had a sense of humor. You could tell they were
Yes.
like having fun while they were making music.
Yes.
And so, you know, we got out there, and we played Winnipeg, I think twice, not much, but like we were able to get out there a couple times. And one time we were lucky enough to have Motion open for us, which was like,
Hey.
yeah, he's the best. And like even just weird stuff. So I went to I went to UVic for university from like 98 to like 03. So I was living in BC, and that's when I got to know like all the city planners guys. But one day for like a senior project, I was taking film studies, and my little class group that I was in, we decided to do a music video for one of my songs. It was pretty cool that they were willing to indulge me in that way.
Yeah.
And so we're like walking down, I don't even remember what street it was. It might have been Yates or something. I don't know, somewhere in downtown Victoria. And my classmate is filming me. And I happened to pass by Motion and Ira Lee on the
just
street.
Randomly?
Just randomly. And I was like, wait a minute. I recognize, I think maybe Ira Lee was wearing a Freak Show shirt. And I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, Psy, Oddities. And they're like, Oddities? No way. What are you doing out here? And I'm like, what are you doing out here? Anyway, so we like reenacted that exact moment in the video, which of course I haven't finished and put out. One of these days I'm going to put together an edit and just like,
you can totally still drop that. Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's a song I never released either, but
that's what I'm saying. You can still drop that.
Yeah. So anyway, so like all these little run-ins, and like I've always like felt that they were kindred spirits, and so have to give them their propers. So
that's sick. But you know what? You bring up again, another commonality that heads will know. No matter, like, if you're in Canada, if you travel east, west, any which way, if you bump into other heads, it's always exactly the scene that you just illustrated. Walking, like, oh shit, whatever.
Right.
Every time.
It's like it's like a geography game, right?
Yes,
It's like, who do you know? Who do you know? Like, who do we have in common? And there's always like several people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you have a game plan with EP, the one before it, how you're able to work with one specific producer to put out more tapas sized morsels because one, it gives you a little more time to work with more people.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a pretty loose game plan, but it feels right. I mean, I'm putting one together with Mocha with Mocha production, not really him on the vocals.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do one, and I've talked a bit with Stylus about doing a next one, and I actually have another one that I'm very close to finishing up that is kind of breaking from the trend. Each song is produced by a different person.
Okay.
But it'll also be a short, I think a 6-song EP. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like the right sized meal for me right now.
And you know what? If that is how the creativity gets out, I think that's all that matters.
I hope so. Yeah.
Just saying.
The other thing is people's attention spans suck right now.
Yeah.
So if I can lock them in for like 15, 20 minutes, I'm good,
Yeah. No, it's like we mentioned it previously. Like that is one thing that artists deal with now is that attention span. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like you're either a connoisseur or you're a mega fan to a stan of a particular artist.
Yeah.
Where because if you're a stan, you're gonna pour over everything they drop with a fine-tooth comb, right?
Right.
So I totally understand the whole trying as an artist trying to deal with that attention span. That is something every artist today wrestles with.
Yeah.
How do I get past that short attention span? And I don't think anyone's figured it out yet. I think some things have to change first before that is fully overcome.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors.
A lot has to change before that's overcome. But in the meantime, all artists can do now is just basically ride the river.
For sure.
Right.
But it's also river. It's also freeing, the pressure to fill up a 74-minute CDR is a thing of the past.
And it isn't to say that you won't one day be inspired to do something full length,
Yeah, who knows?
because as an artist, that's like basically your canvas is open.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah,
Exactly. Well, I love what you did with the EP.
thank you.
I'm glad that you're still making music, and I love the video for the single. Who
Oh
did that?
man,
Who did that? Who did you go
that's
to?
that's Ultra Mag 7. So
Okay, okay,
he's the homie out in Jersey.
okay.
And
Salute.
yeah, big shouts to Ultra Mag. Um,
That's dope.
to to illustrate the bridge there, he is a fellow. So Mocha and I also host a podcast
Mm,
that is on Channel Zero, which is Public Enemy's YouTube channel.
okay.
It's called the Body Hat Weekly. Sorry, shameless
The
plug.
body hat.
Yeah, it's inspired by the Digital Underground album.
It sounds like yo body hat.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Okay.
the scheme there is that it's sort of like each episode is like a listening party for an album that we think didn't get enough shine.
Yo, that's actually a dope idea for a pod.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. And so anyway, um I guess you would call him the program director for Public Enemy's
Gee,
channel.
yeah.
The homie C Doc, shouts to C Doc.
Okay.
He has another podcast on there called It's C Doc Again podcast, and Ultra Mag is one of the hosts of that.
Oh,
And
okay.
Ultra Mag has another podcast as well. That
Of course.
they've been in the game longer than I have. This online talking business.
How long have you
But
and Moke been doing the pod?
we started fall of last year.
God damn. See, another pod I was not familiar with. God damn.
Yeah, there's only like several billion.
I mean, yeah.
Seems like
But
everyone's got one now.
but the thing
But
is, once if a pod like if you're into what's happening, I mean, you sub and you stick around. Like you stick
yeah,
around.
well,
Every
it's
new download, you're like, okay, what are they talking about this week? You stick around if it's a dope pod.
I agree with that. It's and you're building virtual community, right?
Oh yeah,
Which in this
definitely.
day and age is way more valuable than it's ever been before.
It's
So
basically the standard now.
yeah, right. People are
Yeah.
still learning to like exit their homes again. It's crazy.
No, nah, for real. Like kids like that are that that are a little bit older now that dealt with the pandemic. Like it's a little weird for them.
Yeah. Yo, it sets your social skills back.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
For real.
But I mean, that like I said, that was a weird, fucked up time. Hopefully, we don't deal with that again in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, you
Amen
know
to
what I
that.
mean? Jeez. Have you got any more of the joints going to be released as official promo singles to help promote the EP?
Probably should, huh?
This is the
Um,
part where you say, "Oh yeah, this is the next single right here."
I've talked with a couple people about like doing videos. Nothing's been solidified yet, but like I definitely would like to do more with it. Um, I definitely think there's opportunity there. I think the songs lend themselves to some decent visualization, whether literal
Yeah.
or not.
Oh
Um,
yeah. You get
so
creative with that shit.
thank you. Tried, Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty fun record. Like, if I can be objective about it, which is pretty much impossible.
That's
Um,
okay.
and so yeah, I would love to do more around it. And to be honest, I need to get more on my promotion game anyway. I, mea culpa. I've not been so great at it over the years. And even like this particular run, like like a week and a half before the album dropped, my kid broke her leg, and all my attention like shifted to that. And
I
so,
mean, of course. I mean,
yeah,
of course.
as it would, but
Yeah,
like it's just,
I would hope
unfortunate
so.
timing, Yeah. So like the day the album dropped, she got her cast off and like got moved to a boot. So that was a good news day, but still it
Yeah.
was busy.
Oh yeah, for sure. One question I had, in terms of promotion, what type of promotion support do you get from UrbNet?
So I think they do a good job of getting it out to Canadian college radio.
Mhm.
I don't have a very clear view into like their inner workings. I mean, UrbNet is really like two people
Yeah. Shout out
making.
Daryl, by the way.
Shout out Daryl.
Hell
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And like, yeah, and Jan too. I mean, the two of them really like make the engine go,
Yeah.
and
It's a lot for two
so
people.
it is, and I
With all
have
the
to
releases,
commend
especially.
them because
Yeah.
they continue putting out lots and lots of music. But resource wise, I think they are somewhat strapped, and it's tough to put that much energy into a single rollout when you
Yeah.
have so many rollouts to manage between
Yeah.
two people. So
Oh fuck yeah.
yeah,
Can't
but
imagine their fiscal year. Planning
yeah,
out the fiscal year. I can't imagine what that's like.
yeah, and so it's kind of hard to know like granularly
Mhm.
what exact steps they're taking in terms of like who they're sending it to, uh, what kind of lists they're on.
Mhm.
That's like record pools, that sort of thing. I don't really know, but they are doing things like they're posting to socials, of course,
Mhm.
and they made this little like animated graphic to announce the release, which was kind of cool.
Cool.
Harnessing the artwork by the homie Cookies out in Vegas. She's
Nice.
dope. She's done all of the artwork for the last several releases that I've put out. So
Okay. Hey,
yeah,
salute.
she's
Dope
hella
work. It's
dope.
dope work.
Yeah. Been in touch with her since the MySpace days.
Oh, he said MySpace.
Yeah.
Damn. With that in mind,
Mm-hmm.
as you're fully familiar, but for folks who may not be as familiar, once upon a time, the game went a little something like this: conceptualize, record, press, hire promo to send to college radio and satellite radio and online radio. Those those promotions, there's
Mm-hmm.
not many of that. Like there's not many people doing promotions anymore in that same way.
Yeah.
For all the reasons you can think of. Streaming. That's now it's about the playlists.
Right.
Now it's about, politicking with, and I found that the people at the streamers that are responsible for playlisting are generally good people to deal with.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm wondering if y'all have looked into that yet, and started to make any inroads with like, say, people at Spotify Canada or anything like that, or Apple Music Canada.
I haven't personally,
Okay.
but that's sounds like a good idea.
Okay. I hope I'm giving you some ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For
Because,
sure.
like I said, I feel like the game, once you figured it out, say like what, 20 years ago, safe to say,
Yeah.
right? The game was, once you figured it out, it was kind of easy to get into the rhythm of releasing, timing your releases, budgeting for promotions, and then doing those promotion rollouts. And then, of
Sure.
course, touring. Touring is another thing in 2025. I mean, it's a little difficult now.
Yeah,
play
is
live.
it? I haven't tried in a really long
Oh
time, to be
man,
honest.
I mean, the border for indie artists,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one. Inflation for indie artists, that's another.
Right.
Like it's a fucking shit show to tour live as an indie artist now. So big up everyone that's
Yeah, no
pulling it
doubt.
together and still doing it. But I mean, come on. I feel like touring now is not as easy as it was 20 years ago. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was a
that
lot
makes sense.
easier. Yeah, it was a lot easier 20 years ago for anyone from any market in Canada to do even a small tour. You know what I mean? At least 3 or 4 or 5 cities,
Right,
right? But
right.
now with the way everything is, and of course life be lifing. A lot of people have families. A lot of people
Yeah.
work 9 to 5s, and now it's just not the same.
No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and we're of a different generation now,
Yeah.
like wait, when I was touring with the Oddities, we were all in our early 20s. It was a
Yes.
totally different game.
Yep.
We
Definitely.
had different tolerances and energies for
Yeah.
things. Like we
Yes.
were we were willing to chase down Joe Schmo promoter at the end of the night for our
Yep.
money.
Yep. Yep.
Like it's different now. We did do like one clever thing back then, which was we specified green bottles of beer on the rider, which guaranteed us that we weren't getting like bottom of the barrel swill.
Yeah. 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 Those riders, man. Jeez.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like a bowl of brown M&Ms or anything like that,
No, nothing like that.
which
Van
actually
Halen
now
be
would be
damned.
easy to do, but back
Right?
then that's crazy.
That being said, have you thought about what this record would sound like live?
Um I think you know the more when I think about it, there's actually a level of complexity that I would probably have to sort out. First of all,
Okay.
two
Okay.
of the 5 songs have guest appearances from other
Yes.
people.
Yes, they do.
One of the five
This goes back to
songs
budgeting.
Yeah, it's budgeting, right? It's like
Hmm.
you can't just expect Graph or Casual to show up
Right?
at any given show.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
aren't just, Joe
right.
Schmo MC.
Yeah, exactly. They've gotten used to a certain standard, I would
Oh,
presume,
yeah.
by
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Um, but then so that leaves 3 solo songs, and one
Yeah.
of the songs is not entirely solo. I could probably do it, but it would take a lot of practice.
Mm.
So I'm speaking of Triptych,
Yeah.
which is me going back and forth with my alter ego.
Yeah.
And the way I wrote it, there's a certain amount of like syllable overlap
Yeah.
on the transitions between voices. So I'd have to get pretty creative with how I would do it live. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
I mean, you can use a backing vocal, really.
yeah, I could. Or I could, convince somebody to do, the other
There
part,
you
which would be
go.
kind of
There you
fun.
go.
But yeah, no, it's something I've played around a little bit within my mind, but I don't have, any defined plans at this point to hop on tour.
One avenue that artists can take now, since going on the road is not always cost efficient. It's
Yeah,
not always life efficient. But one avenue that artists have now is streams, video streams,
true.
like a performance stream. Have you thought about that? Like being
That's
able to
true.
perform the EP in its entirety and then putting it on YouTube.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I haven't really considered that, to be honest,
Okay.
but it's something I'll give a little more thought about.
Just throwing that your way. Throwing
Yeah,
that your
yeah.
way.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Hey, man, I love feedback. I love suggestions. There's a lot to consider, and I definitely don't consider all of it. So,
You know, after I mean, after talking with artists since like the pandemic started, like it was May of 2020, was it?
Mhm.
Right?
That sounds right. Yeah.
And since then, with the inclusion of the pandemic, we've had a lot of opportunities to speak with artists about all these, all the pitfalls that artists face now coming out of the pandemic. Like there's just so much to work around that
Yeah.
eventually some things started to become obvious that even though you can't do this, you can do this.
Hmm.
There are still a lot of tools, marketing tools at your disposal to help get the music out. Even if you
Right.
can't do shows, you know, whatever, there's still ways. You know what I mean? There's obviously shorts that you can do through social media
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
to help promote the joints. There's the live streams, on demand streams, really, of you performing an entire set. You know what I mean? That you can curate and produce so that it's exactly the way you want it. And I
Right.
and I feel like with all these honestly marketing opportunities available to artists these days, sure, there's some things you can't do, but there's still a lot you can do to
Yeah.
market the record.
Definitely. I think, it really just requires the energy and the drive and the interest in doing
Yeah,
all those extra little things.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, I think there are more creative ways to sort of put yourself out there than ever before.
I believe there's a rule. There's a rule in music marketing. If I'm not mistaken, it goes for every dollar you spend on recording, $3 goes to marketing.
Mm,
If I'm not mistaken, that's the ratio that's commonly used for marketing a record.
okay.
So if
I hadn't
but
heard that.
yeah, I feel like if and I mean, to each their own. How you choose to market your record, obviously, it's up to you. We just want to see everyone win.
No doubt.
Like, I'll be completely honest with you. I just want to see everyone win. Artists that we've known from time, artists that are coming up now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're doing good shit, we just want to see you win.
Yeah. Well,
That's all it
appreciate
is.
the boost in the signal, man. That's, every little bit is great. So,
No doubt. No doubt.
yeah.
Dave Sy, my dog, I really want to thank you. It's really glad to get you in the lounge space. We had
Yeah,
lots to
thank you.
talk about. We got to get into a little bit of the history. We got to talk about the new record. I hope this encourages folks who aren't familiar with Dave Sy to seek it out. The visuals are on YouTube. The EP is on streaming. It's on Bandcamp. So if you follow The Lounge Presents, you know we talk about Bandcamp all the time. Buy the records.
Yeah, too.
Buy
And
the
and
records.
for old like audio files and whatnot, we have physicals too.
There you go.
We got tapes through
Hell
UrbNet.
yes.
We got CDs through DITCD,
There
um,
you go.
out in Kona, Hawaii.
There you go.
Um, and I am exploring a vinyl option too. No guarantee at this point, but I'm exploring it, and we might
That's
do a
fair.
little something something.
That's
So
fair. And now is a perfect time because the appreciation for physical media is back.
it's true. It's
It
true.
is back.
Yeah. It's funny. People will like, um, we were a while back, we had Tajay as a guest on our podcast, from
Hey,
Souls of Mischief,
is
Hieroglyphics
there?
crew. And one of the things that he said, which I thought was an excellent idea, is um, we should put QR codes on physical media
That
where,
is actually a great idea.
where people can like just, scan and then download the album,
Hell
because
yeah.
um, we've seen this where people will buy vinyl just to have it, and then they frame it
Yeah.
and put it on their wall, and that's
Yeah.
dope. Like, but they might not even have a record player. They're not even like listening to it. They'll do that, and then they'll just go stream the album if
Dog, a
they
QR
stream
makes all
it.
the sense.
So yeah.
Definitely. And you can throw visuals in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Right. Yeah. Why not? So there's some tips and tricks passing along for whoever needs it.
There you go. Dave Sy, you are on socials. Let people know where to find you on socials.
Yeah, so I am Psy_odd_still at on Twitter. Just Dave
You're
Psy.
still on Twitter?
Oh, I'm still, and I refuse to call it whatever they call it now,
I
Q
know.
or whatever letter it is. I don't remember. Z. Um, and then I'm just at Dave Psy on Instagram.
There you go.
And I guess Threads too, right? But that's an
Yes.
extension of Instagram. So
Yes.
yeah.
Although, you know what's interesting about Threads? Threads has kind of taken over for Twitter.
Yeah, you think?
No, just personally.
Oh, for you. Yeah. Okay.
Like I
Yeah.
still have Twitter, but
It's
Threads is
different
just
crowds.
it's a better environment.
Yeah.
Twitter's just toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It kind of depends. It depends which rabbit hole you're willing to go down. But
True.
yeah, it can be pretty messy out there. That's for sure.
You could just open Twitter and like the first 5 tweets, like 2 of them are going to be about some orange dumb fuck. You know what I'm saying? Doing some dumb shit, or some government doing some, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Well, one of the things they do is, they sort of have like the 2 streams.
Yeah.
There's the For You, and then there's the following.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of the time it defaults to For You, even though all you really want to be looking at is
because that's what they want. They want you in the For You.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
try to pull you in all this other nonsense.
Yeah. You ever think about Blue Sky?
I haven't really looked into it. I have thought about it.
I found Blue Sky to be another good alternative to Twitter.
There was another one that people were running to when Elon first bought Twitter.
Mastodon?
Mastodon, that's right. And I downloaded it, and then I promptly never really messed with it.
Well, so. I mean, with Blue Sky, when Blue Sky first came out, obviously there was the huge migration from Twitter.
Yeah.
But I feel like Blue Sky kind of peaked.
Already?
Well, not so much peaked. They've still got a lot of people on there, but it isn't catching up to Threads, whereas Threads is catching up to Twitter.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Threads has the benefit of it being part of the whole meta machine. Yeah. So
one thing I love about Blue Sky though is it's super niche, and I kind of like that. So
it's not owned by a megalomaniac.
I'm saying, you know what I mean? And there's a great comic community on there. There's a great music community on there.
Oh, that's dope.
There's a great wrestling community on there.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So it's kind of like a nice respite from the crazy of Twitter. You know what I mean?
That's valid. That's valid.
It just doesn't have the engagement that Threads or Twitter has. So,
well, shoot, maybe I'll sign up for an account now.
Just the thought.
You've swayed me.
Dave Sy, thank you again, dog. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And I hope it's not the last time we get you on, man.
No, I'd love to do it again, man. I'm hyped. I really appreciate that you brought me on for this. Yeah,
solid.
Big time.
Make sure you cop the album, follow this man on socials, and until we get back in the lounge space again, salute, dog. Respect.
Likewise to you.
All right, peace.
Peace.